What if I told you that the single most powerful force shaping your life isn't luck, talent, or even hard work, but something far more subtle, something you use every single day without even realizing its true potential? Imagine for a moment that everything you've achieved, every setback you faced, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers or landed in your lap, all trace back to one invisible law, the law of focus. It's not a secret reserved for the elite or a mystical code only the enlightened can crack. It's the silent architect behind every success story you've ever admired and every failure you've ever feared. And right now, whether you know it or not, it's working in your life. Think about it. Why do some people seem to attract opportunity after opportunity, while others struggle just to keep their heads above water? Why do certain individuals rise from nothing, defy the odds, and build legacies that outlast them while others wither under the weight of their own potential? The answer isn't found in their circumstances, their upbringing, or even their education. It's found in what they choose to focus on, day after day, moment after moment. The world is overflowing with distractions, noise, and endless demands for your attention. But the truth is, your attention is the currency that buys your future. Where you invest it, what you feed it, and how you protect it will determine the shape of your destiny. Now you might be thinking, is it really that simple? Can focus alone change the course of my life? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, because focus is the starting point of all creation. Every invention, every breakthrough, every revolution in history began as a single, focused thought in someone's mind. But no, because most people never learn how to harness this power. They scatter their attention across 1,000 worries, 100 opinions, and a dozen half-finished dreams. They let the world decide what's important, and then wonder why their lives feel out of control. But here's the twist: the universe isn't random, it's responsive. It's not waiting to see if you're worthy, it's waiting to see if you're focused. The energy you send out through your thoughts, your words, and your expectations is like a signal, and the universe is always listening. If your signal is scattered, your results will be scattered. If your focus is sharp, your results will be sharp. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's the unspoken law that governs every outcome, every achievement, every so-called miracle you've ever witnessed. So let me ask you, what are you focusing on right now? Is it your goals, your growth, your vision for the future? Or is it your fears, your doubts, and the endless noise of the world around you? Because the answer to that question is the answer to where your life is headed. The moment you realize that your focus is the steering wheel of your destiny is the moment everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for luck. You stop hoping someone else will hand you the life you want. Instead, you take control. You become deliberate. You become powerful. This is the truth most people never hear and even fewer ever act on. But if you're still watching, if you're still listening, it means you're ready to step into a new level of awareness, a level where you don't just react to life but begin to shape it. Because the law of focus is always at work, whether you use it consciously or not. The only question is, will you master it or will you let it master you? And as we dive deeper, you'll discover exactly how this law operates, why it's been the missing link in your journey, and how you can start using it right now to create the results you've always wanted. But first, you need to understand just how much power you already hold, and why the world you see is nothing more than a reflection of the focus you give it. Are you ready to see what's really possible when you take control of your attention? Because what comes next might just change everything you thought you knew about success, failure, and the true nature of reality. Most people go through life believing that their results are shaped by chance, by the unpredictable winds of fate, or by the decisions of others. But what if that's just an illusion? What if beneath the surface of every success and every setback there's a hidden law quietly shaping your reality? One that's been operating in your life since the very beginning, whether you realized it or not. This law doesn't care about your background, your past mistakes, or even your current circumstances. It only cares about one thing: the quality and consistency of your focus. Your life in every detail is a mirror reflecting your dominant thoughts and attention. It's not the fleeting wishes that pass through your mind in moments of inspiration, but the persistent, recurring ideas you dwell on day after day. These are the thoughts that build the architecture of your reality. If you look closely, you'll see the evidence everywhere. The person who constantly worries about failure finds themselves surrounded by obstacles. The one who expects disappointment is rarely surprised when things go wrong. But the individual who holds a vision of success, who saturates their mind with possibility and progress, begins to notice doors opening where others only see walls. This isn't just a comforting idea for dreamers or a philosophy for optimists. It's the unshakable law that underpins all human experience. The universe, or whatever you choose to call the force that governs reality, is not random. It's responsive. It's like a giant echo chamber, amplifying whatever signal you send out through your thoughts, beliefs, and expectations. If you broadcast fear, you attract more reasons to be afraid. If you broadcast gratitude, you find more to be thankful for. If you broadcast purpose, opportunities begin to appear, sometimes from the most unexpected places. But here, where most people get it wrong, they think that simply wanting something is enough. They say they want health, but their minds are filled with thoughts of illness. They claim to desire wealth, but their attention is glued to lack and limitation. They talk about wanting love, but their focus is on loneliness and rejection. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you consistently focus on, what you believe in your core, and what you expect to happen, even if you never say it out loud. This is why you can't afford to be casual with your attention. Every thought you entertain, every belief you reinforce, every expectation you hold is like a seed planted in the soil of your mind. Over time, those seeds grow into the circumstances, relationships, and opportunities that fill your life. If you're not deliberate about what you plant, you'll end up with a garden overrun by weeds, doubts, fears, distractions, and regrets. But if you become intentional, if you choose your focus with care and discipline, you can cultivate a life that reflects your highest vision. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to bend reality to their will, who achieve what others call impossible, who rise above their circumstances and create lasting impact. Their secret isn't luck or privilege. It's the relentless, unwavering focus they bring to their goals. They understand that the universe is not a passive backdrop, but an active participant in their journey. It's always listening, always responding, always reflecting back the energy they project. So the next time you catch yourself wondering why things aren't changing, why your dreams feel out of reach, or why you keep running into the same obstacles, ask yourself, what have I been focusing on? What thoughts have I allowed to dominate my mind? Because the answer to those questions is the answer to the results you're experiencing right now. The law of focus is not a theory. It's not a motivational slogan. It's the invisible force shaping every aspect of your life, from your finances to your relationships, from your health to your happiness. And the best part, you have the power to direct it. You can choose at any moment to shift your attention from what you fear to what you desire, from what's missing to what's possible, from the noise of the world to the signal of your own vision. But remember, this law is always at work, whether you use it consciously or not. It doesn't take days off. It doesn't play favorites. It simply amplifies whatever you give it. So if you want to change your life, you must first change your focus. Because the world you see is nothing more than a reflection of the attention you give it. And once you understand this, you'll realize that you're not just living in the universe. You're creating with it moment by moment, through the power of your focus. It's easy to underestimate the power of a single thought. Most people believe that their lives are shaped by the big decisions, the career they choose, the relationships they enter, the risks they take. But the truth is, it's not the rare, dramatic moments that define your destiny. It's the quiet, persistent thoughts that occupy your mind day after day. These are the thoughts that become the blueprint for your reality, the silent architects of your future. And while fleeting wishes and momentary impulses might spark a little excitement, it's your dominant thoughts, the ones you return to, nurture, and reinforce, that ultimately build the structure of your life. Consider this: every action you take, every word you speak, every habit you form begins as a thought, but not just any thought, a dominant one. The person who constantly thinks about health, who visualizes themselves strong and energetic, who expects to feel good, will naturally make choices that support that vision. They'll reach for nourishing foods, move their body, and avoid habits that drain their energy. Over time, their body responds and health becomes their reality. On the other hand, someone who fixates on illness, who worries about every ache and pain, who expects to get sick, will find themselves living out that expectation, often without even realizing how their focus shaped their fate. The same principle applies to wealth, relationships, and every other area of life. You might say you want abundance, but if your dominant thoughts are about scarcity, if you're always worried about bills, comparing yourself to others, or expecting things to go wrong, your actions will reflect that mindset. You'll hesitate to invest in yourself, you'll shy away from opportunities, and you'll repel the very prosperity you claim to desire. It's not what you say with your mouth that matters most. It's what you broadcast through your persistent attention, your emotional energy, and your daily habits. This is why so many people feel stuck, frustrated, or confused about why their lives don't change, even when they set goals or make resolutions. They focus on what they lack, on what's missing, on what could go wrong. They let their dominant thoughts be shaped by fear, doubt, and the opinions of others. And then they wonder why their reality seems to echo those very things. The universe, after all, is not listening to your fleeting wishes, it's responding to your dominant signal. But here's the good news: you have the power to change that signal at any moment. You can choose to saturate your mind with thoughts of success, gratitude, and possibility. You can decide to build a mental temple to your vision, to dwell on it so completely that it becomes the most natural thing in the world. When you do this, something remarkable happens. The world begins to echo your new focus back to you. Opportunities appear, resources align, and people show up to support your journey, not because you're lucky, but because you've finally tuned your mind to the frequency of your desires. This isn't just a theory or a motivational catchphrase. It's a principle that's been proven time and again by high achievers in every field. Look at the stories of inventors, artists, athletes, and entrepreneurs who have changed the world. They didn't just wish for success, they obsessed over it. They visualized it, spoke about it, believed in it, and expected it even when no one else could see what they saw. Their dominant thoughts became their reality, and the universe had no choice but to respond. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or setbacks. Life will always test your focus, throwing distractions and doubts in your path. But when your dominant thought is clear, when your vision is stronger than your fears, you become unstoppable. You stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with purpose. You become the architect of your own destiny, building your future one thought at a time. So ask yourself, what are the dominant thoughts living in your mind right now? Are they aligned with the life you want to create, or are they pulling you further from your goals? Are you feeding your vision, or are you feeding your fears? The answer to these questions will tell you everything you need to know about why your life looks the way it does, and what you need to change if you want different results. Remember, the power of dominant thought is always at work, whether you use it consciously or not. You can't escape it, but you can direct it. And when you do, you'll discover a level of influence over your life that most people never even imagine. Because in the end, it's not the world that shapes you, it's the thoughts you choose to focus on day after day that shape the world you experience. Distraction is the silent thief of dreams. It doesn't announce its arrival with a crash or a bang. Instead, it slips quietly into your life disguised as harmless entertainment, endless scrolling, or the constant ping of notifications. Most people don't even realize how much of their potential is being siphoned away, moment by moment, by the world's relentless demands for their attention. But if you look closely, you'll see that distraction is not just a minor inconvenience. It's the single greatest obstacle standing between you and the life you want to create. Think about your average day. How many times do you set out to accomplish something important, only to find yourself pulled in a dozen different directions? You start with good intentions, but before you know it, you're checking your phone, responding to messages, or getting lost in the latest viral video. Hours slip by, and at the end of the day, you're left wondering where your time and your energy actually went. This is not an accident. The world is designed to hijack your focus, to keep you distracted, and to profit from your divided attention. The cost of distraction isn't just lost time. It's lost momentum, lost clarity, and lost opportunity. Every time you allow your attention to be pulled away from your goals, you weaken the signal you're sending to the universe. You dilute your power, you scatter your energy across 1,000 trivial pursuits, and in doing so you make it nearly impossible to build anything meaningful. The mind, like a magnifying glass, can ignite a fire when its focus is steady. But when it's constantly shifting, it accomplishes nothing. Most people don't realize how much mental garbage they consume each day. The news cycle bombards you with fear and outrage. Social media feeds you a steady diet of comparison and envy. Gossip and negativity swirl around you, filling your mind with doubts and distractions. And all the while, your most precious resource, your attention, is being spent on things that do nothing to move you forward. It's no wonder so many people feel empty, anxious, or unfulfilled. They've allowed the noise of the world to drown out the signal of their own vision. But here's the truth: you cannot create a powerful life if your focus is constantly being stolen. You cannot build a legacy if your attention is scattered across meaningless distractions. Every time you give energy to a fear, a doubt, a complaint, or a passing trend, you are feeding the exact opposite of what you want. You are watering the weeds instead of the seeds. And over time, those weeds take over, choking out your dreams before they ever have a chance to grow. The hidden cost of distraction is not just what you lose in the moment, It's what you never get to experience because your energy was never fully invested in your vision. The book you never wrote, the business you never started, the relationship you never deepened, the health you never achieved, all because your focus was divided. Distraction is the enemy of greatness, and it's more dangerous now than ever before. In a world where attention is the most valuable currency, those who can control their focus will control their future. But here's the good news: you don't have to be a victim of distraction. You can reclaim your attention starting right now. It begins with awareness, recognizing how much of your day is spent on autopilot, reacting to the world instead of creating your own reality. It continues with intention, choosing moment by moment to direct your focus toward what truly matters. And it's sustained by discipline, building habits and environments that support your vision, rather than sabotage it. Ask yourself, what are the biggest distractions in your life right now? Is it your phone, your social media feeds, the opinions of others, or the endless stream of news and entertainment? What would happen if you eliminated just one of those distractions, even for a week? How much more energy, clarity, and progress could you create if you guarded your attention as fiercely as you guard your money or your time? The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who have learned to say no to distractions, to negativity, to anything that doesn't serve their highest purpose. They understand that every yes to a distraction is a no to their dreams. They protect their focus like a treasure, knowing that it is the foundation of everything they will ever achieve. So the next time you feel the pull of distraction, remember what's really at stake. It's not just a few minutes or a little bit of energy. It's your future, it's your legacy. It's the life you could be living if only you chose to focus. The world will always try to steal your attention, but you have the power to take it back. And when you do, you'll discover a level of clarity, momentum, and fulfillment that most people never experience. But that's not the whole story, because beyond the battle with distraction lies an even deeper truth, one that explains why some people seem to rise above the noise and create extraordinary results, while others remain stuck in cycles of frustration. It's not just about avoiding distraction. It's about understanding the science and speculation behind focus itself, and how you can train your mind to become a magnet for the life you truly want. And what you'll learn next might just change the way you see your own potential forever. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to have an almost supernatural ability to lock in on their goals and achieve them, while others struggle to stay on track for even a single day, you're not alone. The science of focus and the speculation that surrounds it has fascinated thinkers, researchers, and high achievers for generations. But what's really going on inside your mind when you focus? And is it something you're born with, or can anyone develop it? Let's start with what we know. Neuroscientists have discovered that your brain is constantly rewiring itself in response to what you pay attention to. This process, called neuroplasticity, means that every time you focus on a thought, a goal, or even a worry, you're literally strengthening the neural pathways that make it easier to think that way again. In other words, focus is not just a mental habit. It's a physical process that shapes the very structure of your brain. The more you practice focusing on what matters, the easier it becomes to tune out distractions and lock in on your vision. But here, where things get interesting. While science can explain the mechanics of focus, there's still a lot of debate about why some people seem to have more of it than others. Is it a privilege, a product of upbringing and environment, or is it a skill that anyone can develop, no matter where they start? Some experts argue that genetics and early childhood experiences play a huge role in shaping your ability to concentrate. Others point to the power of deliberate practice, showing that even the most scattered mind can be trained to focus with enough intention and repetition. And then there's the speculation, the stories and theories that go beyond what science can prove. Some say that focus is a kind of superpower, a force that can bend reality itself. There are countless tales of athletes who visualize victory so vividly that it seems to pull them across the finish line, of entrepreneurs who hold a vision in their minds until the world finally catches up, of artists who become so absorbed in their craft that time seems to disappear. Is this just the result of a well-trained brain, or is there something more mysterious at work? Reports claim that when you focus with enough intensity and clarity, you begin to attract the people, resources, and opportunities you need, almost as if the universe itself is responding to your intent. Of course, not everyone agrees. Critics argue that the idea of manifesting your desires through focus alone is just wishful thinking, a comforting story for those who want to believe in magic. They point out that hard work, strategy, and even luck play a role in every success story, but even the skeptics can't deny the power of a focused mind. Studies show that people who set clear intentions and direct their attention toward their goals are far more likely to achieve them than those who drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way. And then there's the myth of multitasking, a belief that you can split your attention across multiple things and still be effective. The science is clear: multitasking is a lie. When you try to do too many things at once, your brain can't actually focus on more than one complex task at a time. Instead, it rapidly switches back and forth, burning energy and reducing your effectiveness. The result: more mistakes, less creativity, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. The most successful people know this, which is why they ruthlessly eliminate distractions and focus on one thing at a time. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of focus is how it interacts with your beliefs and expectations. Rumors suggest that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. When you focus on a goal with enough emotional intensity, your brain starts to act as if it's already true. You begin to notice opportunities you would have missed, take actions you might have avoided, and attract the support you need to move forward. It's as if your focus becomes a magnet, pulling your desires out of the realm of possibility and into your reality. So is focus a privilege or a skill? The answer is both and neither. It's a muscle that anyone can strengthen, but it's also a choice that must be made every single day. You can't control where you started, but you can control where you direct your attention from this moment forward. The science is clear: your brain will follow your focus. The speculation is even more exciting: the universe just might too. And as you begin to understand the true power of focus, both the proven science and the mysterious speculation, you'll realize that you're not limited by your past, your environment, or even your current habits. You have the ability to train your mind, to sharpen your attention, and to become the kind of person who turns vision into reality. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design, by discipline, and by the daily decision to focus on what matters most. But knowing the science and hearing the stories is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you put this knowledge into practice, when you start to build the discipline of deliberate focus and use it to shape your future, one thought, one action, and one day at a time. If there's one thing that separates those who merely wish for a better life from those who actually create it, it's the discipline of deliberate focus. This isn't about fleeting motivation or the occasional burst of inspiration. It's about the daily, sometimes unglamorous, commitment to direct your attention toward your vision, no matter what distractions, doubts, or difficulties arise. The world is full of people with big dreams and good intentions, but only a handful ever turn those dreams into reality. The difference: discipline, the willingness to focus on what matters, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one else is watching. Think of the builder who stands on an empty lot, surrounded by nothing but dirt and possibility. He doesn't despair at the lack of a finished house. Instead, he holds the blueprint in his mind, visualizing every wall, every window, every detail long before a single brick is laid. Each day, he returns to the site, measuring, planning, and building, brick by brick, until the vision in his mind becomes a reality in the world. Or consider the farmer who looks out over bare soil and sees not emptiness but a future harvest. He plants seeds, waters them, and tends the field, knowing that the results won't appear overnight. His focus is unwavering, his actions consistent, and in time the harvest comes. This is the discipline of deliberate focus, the ability to hold your vision steady, to act in alignment with your goals, and to persist through the inevitable delays and setbacks. The universe, as relentless as it is impartial, does not reward occasional effort or half-hearted attention. It amplifies whatever you feed it, whether that's doubt or determination, fear or faith. If you think defeat, talk defeat, and expect defeat, you will live in defeat. But if you think victory, speak as one who has already won, and expect success with unwavering belief, then no circumstance, no delay, no opposition can keep it from you. Most people, however, are casual with their focus. They let the noise of the world dictate their attention, bouncing from one distraction to the next, never staying with anything long enough to see it through. They start projects with excitement but abandon them in frustration. They set goals with hope but lose them in the fog of daily life. Their energy is scattered, their results inconsistent, and their dreams remain just out of reach. But the one who masters the discipline of focus becomes a master of their future. They understand that attention is energy, and they treat it with the same respect they would give to their most valuable asset. Discipline means saying no to what doesn't serve you, even when it's tempting. It means turning off the noise, ignoring the critics, and refusing to let circumstances dictate your attitude. It means training your mind to lock onto your vision like an eagle locks onto its prey, relentless, unyielding, and precise. This is not the posture of a victim but of a creator. The world may try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but you decide where your focus goes. You become the captain of your mind, steering your life with intention and purpose. And here's the truth that few people ever realize. What you do with your focus in private will always show up in your life in public. You may not see the results instantly, but they are coming. That's the law. The universe is not waiting for you to prove your worth before it delivers. It's waiting for you to prove your focus. The signal you send determines the form the response takes. If you signal fear, it sends you more reasons to be afraid. If you signal gratitude, it multiplies your blessings. If you signal purpose, opportunities begin to show up from unexpected corners. But discipline is not just about grit or willpower, it's about clarity. When your focus is blurred, your life becomes scattered. You jump from one idea to the next, never finishing what you start. But when you're clear, when you know exactly what you want and why you want it, your actions become aligned, your days gain meaning, and your energy is no longer diluted across 1,000 distractions. It is laser-focused on the one thing that matters most. So how do you build this discipline? It starts with a decision. Decide what you want to create, who you want to become, and what you're willing to give up to get there. Then build habits and routines that support your vision. Eliminate distractions, set boundaries, and protect your focus as if your future depends on it, because it does. Remind yourself daily of your goals, visualize your success, and take consistent action no matter how small. Over time, your discipline will become your superpower, and your focus will become the engine that drives your success. Remember, the universe does not reward the casual or the curious. It rewards the committed. The law has no favorites, it simply amplifies whatever you give it. So if you want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect moment or the right conditions. Start now. Build the discipline of deliberate focus and watch as the world begins to echo your vision back to you, one result at a time. But even with discipline, there's another force at play, one that can either accelerate your progress or sabotage it from the shadows. It's the environment you create for your mind, the people you surround yourself with, and the influences you allow into your life. And understanding this next piece is crucial if you want your focus to truly flourish. If you've ever tried to change your life, you know that willpower alone isn't enough. You can set the boldest goals, write the most inspiring affirmations, and even build a daily routine of focus and discipline. But if your environment is working against you, progress will always feel like an uphill battle. The truth is, your surroundings, both physical and social, are constantly shaping your attention, your beliefs, and ultimately your results. Most people underestimate just how powerful this influence is. But if you want to master your focus, you must first master your environment. Take a look around you. What fills your space? Is it clutter, chaos, and constant noise, or is it order, inspiration, and reminders of your vision? The objects, images, and even the colors in your environment are not just background details, they're silent signals to your subconscious mind. A messy, disorganized space breeds distraction and stress, while a clean, intentional environment supports clarity and creativity. If you want to focus like a champion, start by creating a space that reflects your highest goals. Remove what doesn't serve you, add what inspires you, make your environment a daily reminder of the future you're building. But the physical environment is only half the story. The people you surround yourself with are even more influential. Every conversation, every shared belief, every subtle expectation from your social circle is programming your mind, often without you realizing it. If you spend your time with people who complain, gossip, or settle for mediocrity, their mindset will rub off on you. Their doubts will become your doubts. Their limitations will become your limitations. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with those who are driven, optimistic, and focused on growth, you'll find your own standards rising to meet theirs. This is why so many high achievers are ruthless about who they let into their inner circle. They understand that energy is contagious. If you want to build a palace of purpose, you can't lay bricks with people who are content living in a prison of procrastination. You must be willing to distance yourself from negativity, even if it means standing alone for a while. It's not about arrogance or superiority. It's about protecting your focus, your energy, and your future. Ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? What do they talk about? What do they believe is possible? Are they building you up or holding you back? Are they challenging you to grow or encouraging you to stay the same? The answers to these questions will reveal more about your future than any horoscope or personality test ever could. because your social circle is either a ladder to your dreams or an anchor to your past. But it's not just about avoiding negative influences. It's about actively seeking out those who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Find mentors, join communities, and connect with people who are already living the life you want to create. Let their stories fuel your ambition. Let their standards raise your own. The more you immerse yourself in an environment of excellence, the more natural it becomes to focus on your goals and ignore the distractions that once held you back. And don't forget the digital environment. In today's world, your phone, your social media feeds, and the content you consume are just as influential as the people you see in person. Are you filling your mind with inspiration, education, and positivity, or are you drowning in negativity, outrage, and endless distraction? Every click, every scroll, every notification is a vote for the kind of life you want to build. Be intentional. Curate your digital world as carefully as you curate your physical one. The environment you create is the soil in which your focus grows. If you plant your vision in toxic ground, don't be surprised when it struggles to take root. But if you cultivate a space of clarity, support, and inspiration, your focus will flourish, and so will your results. This is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small change you make to your environment is a signal to your subconscious that you are serious about your goals. Over time, these signals add up, creating a powerful momentum that carries you forward, even on the days when motivation is low. Remember, you are the architect of your environment. You have the power to choose what stays and what goes, who you listen to and who you ignore, what you allow into your mind and what you shut out. This is not always easy. It may require difficult conversations, bold decisions, and a willingness to stand apart from the crowd. But the price of mediocrity is far higher than the discomfort of discipline. So, take a hard look at your environment and your social circles. Are they building a palace of purpose or a prison of procrastination? Are they fueling your focus or feeding your distractions? The answers will determine not just the quality of your attention, but the quality of your entire life. And as you begin to shape your environment with intention, you'll discover a new level of clarity and power. But there's still one more trap to avoid: the danger of divided energy, which can sabotage even the most focused mind. Understanding this next challenge is essential if you want to protect your progress and accelerate your journey toward your dreams. There's a hidden trap that quietly sabotages more dreams than failure ever could. It's not a lack of talent, resources, or even opportunity. It's the silent, creeping danger of divided energy. Most people don't even realize they're caught in it. They set goals, make plans, and even take action, but their attention is split, one eye on the prize, the other on their fears, doubts, and distractions. They try to move forward while still clinging to the comfort of the familiar, and in doing so, they end up stuck in place, wondering why nothing ever changes. Divided energy is like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You might make a little progress, but you'll burn out long before you reach your destination. Every time you hesitate, second guess, or allow yourself to be pulled in multiple directions, you dilute the power of your focus. The universe responds not to your wishes but to your commitment. It listens for the signal of unwavering intent, and when it hears only static, mixed messages, half-hearted efforts, and scattered attention, it has nothing clear to amplify. Think about how often you've started something with excitement, only to abandon it when the first obstacle appeared. Maybe you set a goal to get in shape, but let old habits and new excuses creep in. Maybe you launched a project, but let criticism or self-doubt convince you to quit. Or maybe you've tried to pursue multiple dreams at once, believing you could do it all, only to find yourself overwhelmed and underwhelmed by your results. This is the cost of divided energy. Nothing gets the full force of your attention, so nothing reaches its true potential. The world is full of critics, distractions, and endless opportunities to second-guess yourself. There will always be people who doubt your vision, circumstances that test your resolve, and moments when the path forward seems unclear. But the achievers, the ones who actually build the life they want, are those who decide once and for all what they are committed to. They let everything else fall away. They don't chase every shiny object or try to please everyone. They focus, persist, and refuse to let temporary setbacks shake their belief. This kind of commitment is rare and it's powerful. When you send a clear, consistent signal to the universe, when your thoughts, words, and actions are all aligned with your chief aim, doors begin to open. Not always immediately and not always in the way you expect, but the response is inevitable. Life rewards the persistent, not the hesitant. The universe listens not to your words but to your persistence. When you keep showing up even in the absence of results, you send a message to life itself. I am serious. And when life knows you are serious, it starts to move in your favor. But divided energy doesn't just slow your progress, it can actually push your dreams further away. When you focus on your goal one day and your fears the next, you create confusion both in your mind and in the world around you. You send mixed signals and the universe responds with mixed results. You can't build anything worthwhile with one foot in and one foot out. You must decide what you are committed to, and then let everything else become background noise. This doesn't mean you can never change direction or adjust your goals. Life is dynamic and sometimes the path to your dreams requires flexibility. But there's a difference between strategic adjustment and chronic indecision. The former is a sign of wisdom, the latter is a symptom of divided energy. The key is to make decisions with clarity and then move forward with conviction, trusting that your focus will create the momentum you need. So how do you escape the trap of divided energy? It starts with ruthless honesty. Ask yourself, what am I truly committed to? What am I willing to let go of in order to achieve it? What distractions, doubts, or competing priorities are stealing my focus? Make a list, get clear, and then make the decision to go all in. Remove the unnecessary. Say no to what doesn't serve your vision. Protect your energy as fiercely as you protect your time and money. There will be moments when you're tempted to give up, to chase something easier, or to let fear dictate your actions. But remember, the universe is always listening, not to your fleeting desires, but to your persistent intent. When you persist even in the face of doubt and delay, you prove that you are ready for the next level. And when you do, you'll find that the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable begin to crumble under the weight of your sustained focus. The trap of divided energy is subtle, but its effects are profound. It keeps you stuck, frustrated, and always just out of reach of your true potential. But the moment you decide to focus your energy, to commit fully to your vision, everything begins to change. The critics fade into the background, the distractions lose their power, and the universe, finally hearing a clear signal, begins to respond in ways you never imagined. So as you move forward, remember, you cannot march toward your dreams with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. You must choose your direction, commit to it, and let your focus become unstoppable. Because the world doesn't reward the divided, it rewards the determined. And when you become that person, you'll discover just how powerful your focus can truly be. But even as you master your energy and commitment, there's another secret that most people never learn, one that can unlock a level of abundance and opportunity you may have never thought possible. It's the secret of tuning your mind to see what others miss, and it's what we'll explore next. There's a secret about focus that most people never learn, and it's the difference between those who merely wish for a better life and those who actually create one. It's not just about working harder, setting more goals, or even being more disciplined, though all of those things matter. The real secret is about tuning your mind to see what others miss, to notice opportunities that are invisible to the distracted, and to unlock a level of abundance that seems almost magical to those still trapped in cycles of lack and limitation. You see, the mind is a filter. Every day you're bombarded with more information, choices, and possibilities than you could ever consciously process. Your brain has to decide what to notice and what to ignore. Most people, without realizing it, have trained their minds to focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what's lacking. They see obstacles instead of openings, problems instead of possibilities, and scarcity instead of abundance. And because your mind is always looking for evidence to support your dominant beliefs, you end up living in a world that reflects those beliefs back to you. But here, where the secret comes in, you can train your mind to tune into opportunity, to see solutions where others see setbacks, and to attract abundance even in the midst of adversity. It starts with a simple but powerful shift, choosing to focus on what you can create rather than what you lack. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about refusing to let your attention be enslaved by limitation. When you focus on possibility, your awareness expands. You start to notice resources, ideas, and connections that were always there, but hidden from view by the fog of negative thinking. There's been a lot of buzz online about the so-called law of attraction, with fans speculating that you can simply think your way to success. But the truth is more nuanced. It's not about wishful thinking or magical shortcuts. It's about the science of selective attention, what psychologists call the reticular activating system. This part of your brain acts like a radar, scanning your environment for anything that matches your dominant focus. If you're always thinking about problems, your radar will find more problems. But if you train it to look for solutions, opportunities, and reasons to be grateful, your radar will start picking up on those instead. This is why two people can face the same situation and have completely different experiences. One sees only closed doors while the other finds a window of opportunity. One is blinded by what's missing while the other is guided by what's possible. The difference isn't luck or intelligence, it's focus. The person who learns to direct their attention toward creation, growth, and abundance becomes a magnet for the very things they desire. But let's be clear, this isn't about ignoring your challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to let your challenges define you. It's about seeing every obstacle as raw material for growth, every setback as a setup for a comeback, and every limitation as a call to expand your vision. When you make this shift, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming a creator of circumstance. There's a reason why the most successful people in the world often come from the most unlikely backgrounds. It's not because they had more resources or fewer problems. It's because they learned to tune their minds to opportunity, to see what others missed, and to act on it with courage and conviction. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, they created them by focusing on what they could control and letting go of what they couldn't. And here's another layer to the secret. The more you focus on abundance, the more you begin to expect it. Expectation is focus dressed in belief. When you expect good things, you act in ways that make those things more likely. You take risks, you reach out, you persist when others quit. The universe in turn seems to conspire in your favor not because of magic, but because your focus has aligned your actions, your energy, and your awareness with the outcomes you desire. But most people never learn this. They spend their lives reacting to what's in front of them, letting their attention be hijacked by fear, doubt, and the opinions of others. They never realize that the world they see is just a mirror, reflecting back the focus they've chosen consciously or unconsciously. They chase results but never change the cause. They wish for abundance but focus on lack. And so, the cycle repeats. If you want to break free, you must become intentional about what you focus on. Start each day by asking, what can I create today? What opportunities are waiting for me to notice them? How can I turn this challenge into a stepping stone? Write your answers down, speak them aloud, visualize them as if they're already true. The more you do this, the more you'll train your mind to see what others miss, and the more abundance you'll attract into your life. This is the secret most never learn. Your focus is the gateway to a world of possibility. The mind that sees only lack cannot receive abundance, not because abundance is absent, but because your focus has made you blind to it. Every day the universe broadcasts opportunity, answers, and ideas, but only the tuned-in mind can hear it. Tuning in is a decision, and it's one you can make right now. But understanding this secret is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when you become a builder of focus, someone who not only sees opportunity but acts on it day after day with clarity, consistency, and purpose. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. If you've made it this far, you're already different from most. You're not just curious about the power of focus, you're ready to become a builder of it. But here's the truth, becoming a focus builder isn't about a single decision or a burst of motivation. It's about a daily challenge, a commitment to shape your mind and your life with intention, clarity, and relentless consistency. This is where the real transformation happens, not in the moments when you feel inspired, but in the days when you don't and you choose to focus anyway. The world will always offer you distractions. There will always be something urgent, something entertaining, something easier than the work of building your vision. But the focus builder understands that every day is a brick in the wall of their dream. Each morning you have a choice, to let your attention be scattered by the noise of the world, or to direct it deliberately toward what matters most. This is the discipline that separates those who drift from those who drive their destiny. Start by getting clear on what you want. Not just the vague hopes or the someday wishes, but the specific, vivid vision of the life you're building. Write it down, see it in your mind's eye, speak it aloud until it feels real. The clearer your vision, the easier it becomes to focus your energy and filter out what doesn't serve you. Clarity is power, and it's the foundation of every focus builder's journey. But clarity alone isn't enough. You must also eliminate. The world is full of noise, and your mind is not a dumping ground for every opinion, every fear, every distraction that comes your way. Ruthlessly cut out what doesn't align with your vision. This might mean changing your routines, limiting your exposure to negative influences, or even distancing yourself from people who drain your energy. It's not always easy, but every act of elimination is an act of self-respect, a signal to your subconscious that your dream is worth protecting. Consistency is the next pillar. Anyone can focus for a day or even a week, but the focus builder returns to their vision day after day regardless of how they feel. They understand that results are not the product of occasional effort but of sustained, repeated action. Think of your focus like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you return to your vision, the more natural it feels to act in alignment with it. Over time, what once felt like discipline becomes your new normal. And then there's the power of intention. The focus builder doesn't just react to life, they create it. Each morning, set an intention for your day. Decide what will dominate your thoughts, what you will build, what you will ignore. Don't let your mind be an open field where anything can grow. Make it a garden and plant only what you wish to harvest. Say to yourself, today I focus only on what moves me forward. I starve distractions. I eliminate doubt. I will no longer feed what I do not want. This is how you reclaim your power, one day at a time. But perhaps the most important part of becoming a focus builder is learning to trust the process. The universe does not respond to short bursts of enthusiasm. It responds to sustained intention, to the quiet, persistent energy of someone who refuses to give up. There will be days when nothing seems to happen, when progress feels invisible, when doubt creeps in. But the focus builder knows that every day of attention is a brick in the wall of their dream. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated over time create extraordinary results. And as you build, you'll begin to notice something remarkable. The right people will appear. The right ideas will find you. Opportunities will seem to come from nowhere. This isn't coincidence, it's the universe responding to your clarity, your consistency, and your commitment. People may call it luck, but you'll know the truth. You focused yourself into alignment with what was already yours. So here's your challenge: wake each day with purpose. Move with clarity, act with decisiveness. Refuse to be moved by temporary appearances. You are not here to be average. You are not here to fit in. You are here to create impact, to build legacy, to move mountains with your mind. And that begins with what you focus on, minute by minute, hour by hour. Don't just set goals, focus on them. Don't just write affirmations, embody them. Don't just dream, build the bridge brick by brick, focus by focus. You do not need more motivation. You need more elimination, less noise, fewer distractions, fewer excuses. This is how you reclaim your focus. And when you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your life. Becoming a focus builder is not a one-time event. It's a way of living, a daily practice, a commitment to yourself and your future. And as you continue on this path, you'll discover that there is no limit to what you can create except the limits you place on your own attention. But before we close, there's one final truth you need to understand. The universe is not against you. It is responding to you. It is not punishing you. It is teaching you. Every challenge you face is an invitation to strengthen your focus. Every obstacle is a test not of your talent, but of your attention. And when you hold the vision, persist, and focus, you become unstoppable. You've now seen the invisible architecture that shapes every result in your life. You've learned that focus is not just a tool, but the very foundation upon which your destiny is built. And yet, as we reach the end of this journey, there's one final truth that stands above all the rest. A truth that, if you truly grasp it, can transform not just your results, but your entire experience of living. You are not waiting on success. Success is waiting on you to focus. This is not just a clever phrase or a motivational soundbite. It's a reality that plays out every single day in every corner of the world. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right feeling, or the right person to come along and change everything. They hope that luck will find them, that circumstances will shift, that somehow, someday, things will just work out. But the universe doesn't operate on hope or chance. It responds to clarity, to commitment, and above all, to focus. The universe isn't against you. It's not some distant force plotting your downfall or testing your patience for its own amusement. It's a mirror reflecting back the energy, the beliefs, and the attention you give it. If you focus on obstacles, you'll see more obstacles. If you focus on opportunity, you'll start to notice doors opening where there were only walls before. If you focus on your limitations, you'll find them everywhere. But if you focus on your potential, you'll begin to see evidence of it in every area of your life. This is the law that governs all achievement, all fulfillment, all transformation. It's not about being lucky or being born into the right circumstances or even being the most talented. It's about being the most focused. The person who learns to direct their attention with intention, who guards their focus like a treasure, who refuses to let the noise of the world drown out the signal of their own vision. This is the person who shapes reality, who bends the world to their will, who leaves a legacy that outlasts them. But here's the twist: focus is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice. The world will always try to pull you off course. Distractions will multiply, doubts will whisper. Setbacks will test your resolve. But every time you bring your attention back to your vision, every time you choose to focus on what you want instead of what you fear, you strengthen the muscle that creates miracles. So what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let it be just another idea, another video, another fleeting moment of inspiration? Or will you let it change you? Will you wake up tomorrow and decide with absolute clarity what you will focus on? Will you eliminate the distractions, the doubts, the excuses that have held you back? Will you become the architect of your own destiny, brick by brick, thought by thought, focus by focus? Remember, your dream is not silly. Your vision is not impossible. Your goal is not too big, but your focus must match the size of your desire. Your discipline must match the depth of your ambition. Focus turns vision into victory, desire into destiny, wishing into wealth. If you want to change your world, don't start with your environment. Start with your focus. Shift your gaze, lift your eyes, align your mind with the outcome you seek. Hold it there, feed it, speak it, think it. Move toward it daily and watch how the universe conspires not to punish you, but to promote you, not to test you, but to trust you, not to resist you, but to reward you. There is no mystery greater than the power of focused thought aligned with definite purpose. The man or woman who learns to dominate their attention has already begun to dominate their destiny. Most people chase results. The wise focus on causes. Thoughts are the causes. Results are the effects. Change your dominant focus and your entire world rearranges itself to match the new image you hold in your mind. Too many individuals try to manipulate the outer world while their inner world remains disorganized, distracted, and filled with contradiction. That is like planting weeds and expecting roses. The universe is exact. It gives you not what you claim to want, but what you consistently focus on, consciously or unconsciously. If you wake up each day and focus on your limitations, that becomes your lens, and you will see your day through the fog of doubt. But if you rise and direct your mind toward possibility, toward opportunity, growth, and creation, you will begin to attract precisely those things because your perception has tuned your awareness to them. So, as you move forward from this moment, ask yourself, what am I going to focus on today? What am I building, not just in my outer world, but in the inner world of my thoughts and beliefs? Will I let the world dictate my focus, or will I choose it for myself? The answer to these questions will determine not just the quality of your results, but the quality of your entire life. Let this be your call to action. Guard your focus, cultivate it, aim it, because it is the most valuable asset you own. And if you protect it, there is nothing you cannot become. The power to transform your life does not lie in better luck, better timing, or better conditions. It lies in a better focus, yours. And when you understand that, the universe responds not because you are lucky, but because you are finally listening, finally deciding, finally focusing on what was always meant for you. Focus is the doorway, discipline is the key, consistency is the lock, and your destiny is what's on the other side. Open it and never look back, because what you focus on, the universe will provide.